Kaya ang tinatanong ko sa iyo, as a lawyer, right now, sinasabi mo ba sa amin, kayong mga congressman, dapat nyong malaman na ang desisyon ng Korte Suprema, ang desisyon ng Court of Appeals, kahit na final and executory, pwede naming palitan sa PhilHealth. Is that what you are saying right now?
Since the PhilHealth Board, sir, has the quasi-judicial authority to
Oo
penalize...
nga, balik na naman tayo sa judicial.
Anyway, Honorable Barsaga,
Nagluloko
Mr.
na lang
Chairman.
tayo rito. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, okay, Honorable
Ayaw mo
Fernandez.
kasi be cited in contempt.
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman. I was about to say that. Mr. Chairman, session suspended.
Attorney Pocallan, isa ka sa nagsabi kahapon, hindi ba? You were here yesterday. Yesterday or Monday?
Sir, I think it was Attorney Villegas.
Kasama ka, dito ka nakaupo nung isang araw eh. Si Attorney Villegas, nandyan. Ikaw dito ka eh. Nandito ka eh. Dalawa kayo, you confirmed the validity of the 240 million. Ngayon, hindi mo sasabihin ulit, magsisinungaling ka? Ano?
Attorney Pocallan.
Nandito ka nakaupo. Kitang-kita kita eh. Si Attorney Valle doon. Pareho niyong ni-ratify, pareho niyong na-determine yung validity. Kasi nga papunta tayo doon sa accounting eh. Sinabi ko sa inyo kahapon, nung isang araw ito. Tapos, yes, Your Honor, talagang valid yan. Attorney Pocallan, ang binabasa ko sa iyo ay yung ginawa mong legal opinion. Okay?
Officer.
Sabi ko nga sa iyo, nangalap ka ng jurisprudence para palitawin mo ng isang desisyon ay pwede pang palitan kahit final and executory na. Isa sa mga ito ay itong kay Judge Gaco, Lagcaw versus Judge Gaco, na dito'y sinabi kung merong isang supervening event. So ang tanong ko sa iyo, ano ang supervening event sa kaso ng perpetual health o perpetual succor? Ha? Wala, di ba?
Wala, sir, kasi...
O kaya nga, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin nga itong mga ito. Pagkatapos, ginamit mo pa yung Rule 38 ng Revised Rules of Procedure na mayroong dapat fraud, accident, mistake, or excusable negligence. Meron bang fraud doon sa pagkakagawa ng arbitration at saka pagkaka-uphold ng PhilHealth? Meron bang accident? Meron bang mistake? May excusable negligence? Wala. In-uphold ka nga ng Court of Appeals. Ito ang nakaririmarim na gawain, Mr. Chair. Nakahuli ka na nga ng isang nagkamali. Para lang maitama mo at matakot naman yung kahit paano wag na nilang ulitin sa mga susunod na araw, alang-alang man lang, sa ikapuprotekta ng pondo ng PhilHealth, iniba pa. Ito yung nakapagtataka sa inyo. Oh, ang sabi mo, the conversion of the penalty of suspension or revocation of accreditation as affirmed by the courts to maximum fine against institutional health providers may be considered. Ano yung sinasabi mo rito? Was there a court order na in-affirm ng court? Ang in-affirm ng court, yung suspension, hindi yung pagbabayan ng maximum fine. Meron kang intellectual dishonesty rito eh. Ito ang binigay mo sa PhilHealth. Ay, yung PhilHealth Board naman siguro, hindi naman binabasa siguro, pirma na ng pirma eh. Katungkulan ninyo, i-guide ninyo siya. Kaya nga nandyan kayo eh. Pero kung kayo ang nandyan para paikutin nyo ang board, talagang ganyan nga mangyayari. Ang termino nga namin, mulat-mula pa,
Sir Chairman,
gatas ang baka ang nangyayari rito.
just a clarification.
Isa na lamang po, isa na lamang para mapagbigyan ka naman na Congressman Barsaga. Attorney Pocallan o Attorney Mangawang o kung sino man ang attorney sa inyo, alam niyo itong Corporate Order Number 2018-0039. Boy, tinginan na naman kayo. Ito, ang sinabi niya rito, the policy under PBR, yung sinasabi ko kanina na 2334, ito yung pagpapalit ng parusa, kahit na file ng executory, merong sinasabi na may exceptions. Alam mo, ang isa sa exception, Atty. Pocallan, Atty. Mangawang, etc., etc., cases with decisions of the Arbitration Office, okay? OCCOO or board, or any offense which are already on appeal with the courts. Maliwanag dun eh. Pagka nasa korte na, wag mo nang pakikialaman. Hindi na po pwede yung Philhealth Order 2334. Katakot-takot na policy yung ginagawa ninyo, pinapalit-palitan ninyo, kasi ayaw yung protectionan, ayaw yung alagaan. Paano ang pagtitiwala ng mamamayan sa inyo? Fiduciary responsibility, Mr. Chair. Kayo na mismong nagtakda nito eh. Kaya ang tanong ko kanina kung pwede lang sagutin bago ako matapos. Ganun pala ang pakay ninyo sa perpetual succor na kahit na napatunayan yung nagkasala, isip-isipin ninyo, 3 araw lang ang confinement ng isang pasyente. Ginawa niyo yung 30 halimbawa. At siyempre, malaki ang kikitain niya, di ba? Pinagmamali niya yung mga entries. Falsification. Ayaw niyo naman pala siyang suspindihin. Ha? Pinaiikot-ikot pa ninyo pati Court of Appeals, babalik din pala kayo doon eh. Bakit po ganun? Pwede nga ba sumagot, Atty. Pocallan? Hindi niyo naman pala sususpend. Wala naman pala sa bokabularyo ninyo na suspindihin. O, di ba? Pinaikot-ikot nyo lang pati korte. Kagaya din sa Cardinal Santos. Nag-ikutan lang kayo. At palalabasin ninyo, korte ang gumawa. Mr. Chair, palagay ko napakaliwanag ng paikot-ikot na ito eh. Salamat po.
Mr. Chair, I agree. No, before I recognize you, Atty. Pocallan, short reply. Bakit? Ano nangyari?
Sir, actually, I warned, within that legal opinion that's presented to the board, I warned them that the action of the board will be susceptible to partiality. Kaya nga, I suggested that
Atty. Pocallan, ano sana eh, ako ihinto na sana, wag kang magsisinungaling lalo. Winarn mo. Eh bakit mo ginawa ito? Wawarningin mo rin pala. Dapat hindi mo ginawa ito eh.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just for the clarification of the lawyers, may mga abogado tayo galing sa PhilHealth. Just a very simple question. Can an administrative agency like the PhilHealth, even with the approval of the board of directors, can change a decision coming from the court, which is already final and executory? Meron mang president yan na meron ng desisyon ang husgado, final and executory, pagkatapos papalitan nyo pa?
Yun, sinasabi ni Honorable Rebulla, hindi mo susundin to favor a party. Atty. Pocallan, kindly answer.
Sir, according to OGC's legal opinion, it can be done. The
You are a
modification...
lawyer. Ang sinasabi lang natin dito, decision na to ng husgado. Pwede pa ba natin palitan yan, which is already final and executory? There must be stability insofar as judicial decisions are concerned. Ang nangyayari dito, para namang iba ang batas nyo at jurisprudence, sa nalalaman namin. So, simple question. Pwede nyo bang baguhin ang final decision ng husgado?
I will recognize-
RTC or Court
I will
of Appeals.
recognize Atty. Mangawang, who is the corporate secretary. You should have given legal guidance to the board.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The board was aware. It was aware at that time of the general rule that a decision that has become final and executory can no longer be altered. But it was also aware at that time that there are 5 exceptions to this general rule. And the board at that time.
Okay, balik na lang tayo. Simple na lamang. Kung i-alter ba ang decision ng husgado, sino ang mag-alter in case of fraud, accident, mistake, or excusable negligence? Shall it be the court which render the decision or the administrative body? Kaya, sinasabi ko lamang, simple lamang. Kasi may mga nanonood sa ating abogado o nakikinig. O yung mga future lawyers natin, pagkatapos maririnig nila mula sa abogado ng PhilHealth, may final decision na ang husgado, pwede nyo pang palitan. Sino ang mga member of board? Member ng board of directors at the time?
Atty. Mangawang?
The members of the board at that time, Mr. Chair,
Sino ang mga members ng board?
Sino yung present? Are you asking who was present during the meeting, Congressman Barsaga?
Ng modification or amendment or the change of the Court
Ang
of
unang
Appeals
tanong ko
decision.
dito, at Honorable Barsaga, all members of the board were present nung ginawa to? Hindi, di ba?
sir, at that time, there were 16 board members.
Present.
One was absent, sir.
Okay, so go ahead.
Only 15 were present and all 15 signed the resolution.
Sino nga yung 15?
Our chairperson, Secretary Duque, acting PCO, Dr. Ferrer, CSC Commissioner Valderosa Jr., DSWD Secretary Bautista, the alternate of DILG Secretary Anyo, Secretary Bello, SSS President Attorney Dook, the alternate of Secretary of the Finance, the NAPSI Vice Chairperson, Mr. Alerosa, OFW Sector Representative, Dr. De La Serna.
Secretary of the board, did you ever tell them or advise them, sir, huwag niyong pipirmahan yan, delikado po tayo. Did you do that? Did you do that?
So we presented to the board
Hindi ko sinabi kung pinresent mo. Pinresent mo talaga eh. Ang sinasabi ko lang, did you ever advise them? Kahit na halimbawa personal, sir, pag-aralan muna nating mabuti. Did you do that? Kasi sabi ni Atty. Pocallan, pati ginawa niya ito, ano? Pero winarningan ko po sila eh. Kinusyon ko. Ganito ang ginawa mo, Atty. Pocallan. Para kang nagluto ng isang pagkain. Niluto mo, tapos binigay mo, sir, kung huwag niyo pong kakainin yan, malalason tayo. Ba't mo niluto in the first place? Ganito lang yan eh. Alam mo, kahit na yung mamamayan natin, kung nakikinig sa atin, maintindihan niya na pinaglululoko mo kami. Atty. Mangawang, abogado ka naman, ikaw ang corporate secretary, di ba? Ang tinatanong ko lang naman, siyempre may kakilala ka naman sa mga board. Yung mga board natin, hindi naman sa dami ng ginagawa nila, siyempre kung ano yung inihain mo, niluto niya eh. Niluto niya. O ikaw naman, dala-dala mo. May mga pinggan ka na, pakakainin mo na. Sinabi mo, boss, wag mo munang kakainin yan, delikado po tayo. Bakit? Eh, ang nagluto po si Atty. Pocallan, hindi naman po talaga kusinero yan. Eh. Baka po kung anong pinaglalagay niya. Ang totoo naman kung anong pinaglalagay na Ricardo dito eh. Mali-mali eh. Paano po natin? Ayoko na po.
Ang tanong ko sa iyo, ginawa mo ba to on your own volition or somebody ordered you to do this? Kasi alam mo, kanina ka pa namin tinatanong ni DS Marcoleta, no? Talagang sa iyo pumopokus na ikaw lang ang gumawa ng kasalanan. Kitang-kita namin dito sa lahat na ikaw talaga ang gumawa at ikaw ang nag-offer sa board. Now, ikaw pa talaga ang gumawa o may nag-utos sa iyo na gawin ito?
Atty. Pocallan, let me just remind you that you are under oath. At lahat po na sinasabi niyo dito, we will use in a committee report. So, pwede ho kung magsasalita na kayo dito.
This is your chance,
Another
Atty.
thing, Mr.
Pocallan.
Chairman.
This is your chance.
Another thing, just a warning, attorney. This might be a ground for your disbarment for rendering an opinion that a decision of Court of Appeals can be modified by an administrative body.
Sige, Atty. Pocallan, maaari mo ba sagutin ang katanungan?
Again, sir, I stand by that opinion, no?
May nag-utos ba sa'yo o wala? Yun lang ang sasagutin mo. May nag-utos ba sa'yo o wala? Yes or no?
The board, sir,
May nag-utos ba sa'yo o wala? Yes or no lang?
wala naman po, sir.
So wala nag-utos.
Opo.
So ang lahat ng responsibilidad ay inaako mo.
I stand by, sir, by that opinion because that was also affirmed by the OGCC. Then, although I warned the board that there will be a possible
Remember,
perception
Atty. Pocallan, you are under oath.
Just one
You are
final
under
question.
oath.
Atty. Barsaga. Congressman Barsaga, I'm sorry.
Right now, do you think that you can change or modify the decision of the Court of Appeals, which is already final and executory.
Based, sir, on the exception, sir,
What exceptions?
there's an exception on the substantive,
No,
to
pag
observe the
sinabi natin exceptions,
substantive justice.
ang mag-change will be the court which render the decision, but not another agency. Yung ba sinasabi mong exceptions, Philhealth ang magde-determine kung pwedeng palitan o hindi?
Sir, because under RA 7875,
Hindi nga, tinatanong ko na lamang, yung sinasabi mong exceptions na pwedeng palitan o i-modify ang decision ng Court of Appeals. Ang magmo-modify ba o magpapalit ay ang board ng Philhealth o opisyalis ng Philhealth.
yes, sir,
Is that
because the
the-
quasi-judicial power is vested in the
Hindi nga,
Philhealth
pag
board.
sinabi natin judicial powers, does Philhealth have judicial powers?
Quasi-judicial power, sir.
Oh, ang judicial power, ako
Penalize.
tatanungin mo, very clear sa Constitution. Judicial power shall be vested in the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Executive, sa Executive Department, legislation sa amin. Kaya ang tinatanong ko sa iyo, as a lawyer, right now, sinasabi mo ba sa amin, kayong mga congressman, dapat nyong malaman na ang decision ng Korte Suprema, ang decision ng Court of Appeals, kahit na final and executory, pwede naming palitan sa PhilHealth. Is that what you are saying right now?
Since the PhilHealth board, sir, has the quasi-judicial authority to
Oo
penalize.
nga, balik na naman tayo sa judicial eh.
Anyway, Honorable Barsaga,
Naglolokohan
Mr.
na lang
Chairman.
tayo rito. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, Honorable
I move that
Fernandez.
he be cited in contempt.
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman. I was about to say that. Mr. Chairman,
Session suspended. Hearing resumed. Honorable Barsaga.
Yes, I would like to make this motion. I most respectfully move, Mr. Chairman, that we cite Attorney Jonathan Pocallan for contempt for misleading the lawyers as well as the public that an administrative agency like the PhilHealth can change or modify the decision of the Court of Appeals, which is already final and executory, and that would actually constitute a disrespectful conduct or behavior in our proceedings. And that I base on my knowledge as a lawyer. And I think most lawyers, if not all, would agree with me that there must be finality insofar as judicial decisions are concerned.
There is a
Because this
motion.
is a very dangerous precedent. Even if there is already a decision coming from the Supreme Court, based on this precedent, they can modify and change the decision of the Supreme Court, all the final and executory.
I second
There
the
is
motion.
a
Okay.
motion duly seconded.
Second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any objections from Zoom? Are there any objections? There being none, motion is carried. My next question, in a declaration of contempt, sa ating pong pagdeklara ng contempt, ano pong parusa ang ipapataw, Honorable Barsaga?
Well, I move that he be detained before the House up to Monday.
Okay, meron pong motion hanggang Lunes. But let me just read the particular section as provided by the COMSEC. Section 11, Contempt. Rules of procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. The committee may punish any person for contempt by a vote of 2/3 of the members present, there being a quorum. The following shall be grounds for citing any person in contempt: refusal without legal excuse to obey summons, refusal to be sworn or placed under affirmation, refusal to answer any relevant inquiry, refusal to produce any books, papers, documents, or records that are relevant to the inquiry and are in the possession of the concerned person, acting in a disrespectful manner towards any member of the committee or any misbehavior in the presence of the committee or undue interference in the conduct of proceedings. Contempt of the committee shall be deemed contempt of the House. The person cited in this section may, upon order of the committee, be detained in such a place as the chairperson or acting chairperson may designate. Section 12, penalty. By a vote of 2/3 of the members present, there being a quorum, those cited under Section 11, paragraphs E and F shall be detained for a period not exceeding 10 days in a place designated by the chairperson or acting chairperson under the custody of the sergeant at arms. Ang motion ni Honorable Barsaga, there's a motion for contempt. The motion is to declaring contempt and to detain him for 3 days. Are there any objections? From plenary, from Zoom? There being none, the motion and the penalty is hereby carried. Atty. Pocallan, you are declaring contempt. Dito ka po sa Kongreso hanggang Lunes. I will ask the Sergeant at Arms to designate an area given that we are in a COVID pandemic. So with that, I will suspend session so that the Sergeant at Arms can accompany Atty. Pocallan to the designated area. Session suspended.